I didn't get to formulate my question as well as I tried to, but I think it's because there's two issues that are so mixed up together that I'm just going to throw out a few things. Fear of pain of a loved one, feelings of responsibility and guilt when seeing a loved one in pain, feelings of anxiety of not being there if needed, restlessness, and I guess there's some more work I need to do about fear of loss or fear of separation. And then there's also this thing comes up with responsibility and guilt.
Oh, it is a tangled mess, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, all of those emotions that you're describing are present when you are focused in a way that you are not allowing your connection to your source. That's what all of them are. So while it has been said before, and it's a rather famous statement that the only thing to fear is fear itself, we do want to say that what you are really fearing is fear. I fear that I will be fearful, but we want to put that in a more accurate way. What you're fearing is the way you feel when you feel fear. In other words, we talked about this emotional scale, and up here where you feel good, there is a perception of empowerment, power. And down there where you feel so awful, there is the perception of lack of power. And every emotion, no matter what you call it, is a graduation of your perception of your freedom to feel good. In other words, your entire emotional guidance system is based upon the importance of feeling good. So that empty feelings that are present in fear or even in anger, certainly in despair and depression, that emptiness is because there is an absence or a disallowance. Absence is far too strong of word, and disallowance is too strong of word too, but there's a pinching off of the fullness of who you are. And when you taste from time to time who you are, not tasting it all of the time becomes more and more intolerable. You just can't bear it. Esther remembers having an experience in her life where she really expected that the feeling of uncontrollable sadness was going to come over her again because she'd had that experience before. People describe it as waiting for the other shoe to drop. And the feeling didn't come. There was enough other things happening that was causing her to focus in other ways that she never went there. And in not going there under conditions that she figured were the conditions that surely should have taken her there was very empowering for her. In other words, we want you to reach the place where you are so understanding of your ability to change or control the way you feel that you let go of that fear of going to that uncontrollable place of fear. Mm-hmm. And that's why we get so excited when we take someone from a place of despair into anger. And they acknowledge that they deliberately chose the angry thought and they beat the drum of it long enough that they felt the relief of that unimaginable, unbearable fear. They felt it dissipate. They felt the relief of going into anger. Because when you've had the experience of just moving that far, now you never have to be afraid again, because now you will always know that you have the ability to use the power of your mind to focus. Mm-hmm. We know there are things that feel like they would be unbearable. And the fear of something happening that would be unbearable is usually a worse feeling than the thing actually happening, because when and if it ever happened, you have these other resources that kick in that sort of insulate you against it. A lot of people are torturing themselves unnecessarily, you see.
Well, I thought I had worked through this a whole lot, and I thought I was doing pretty well. But there's a lot of these little things going on in sort of constant, sort of certain anxiety, certain restlessness.
We want you to make a decision that you're just not going to let that stand. In other words, if you've got some little anxieties and you just notice them, but you don't deliberately try to soothe them, they continue to attract unto themselves as they are. In other words, When you make the decision that nothing's more important than you feel good and you don't feel good, you do something about not feeling good. When you understand vibration, you work vibration. In other words, you cannot imagine a magnificent sculptor taking his big clump of clay and splatting it down and then complaining that it didn't turn out right. Mm-hmm. You would expect him to do something about it, to begin molding it and shaping it until the image of the form began to match the image in his mind. And so the same thing is true. When you have an anxiety or a fear or a discomfort or an annoyance or an irritation, do something about it. Stop and say, wait, this is not a normal state of being. My inner being is not joining me in this thought. What can I do about this thought to make it feel better? Mm-hmm. And there is no thought that exists anywhere in your head or in your environment or on this planet or in this universe. There is no thought that you cannot massage into a better feeling place. And when you understand that that's your work, now you're a deliberate creator.
Well, I do work with that, but I don't know how stable it is because, for example, I observe something and I say, well,
we want you to begin using more deliberate words even as you're talking here. In other words, as you say, I am working with this, but I'm not very good at it. Well, that's not a very good statement. I am working with this and I'm getting better at it. I understand this intellectually and I'm beginning to understand it emotionally. There are things that I used to feel bad about that I'm feeling much better about. I'm changing my vibrational point of attraction. I'm beginning to understand that I am the creator of my own experience. I'm getting it, that I create through my thought, and I like being aware of my thought. It's satisfying to me to think and feel rather than have something just happen and have a knee-jerk response to it. And I'm no longer afraid of my knee-jerk responses because it doesn't matter where on the scale my knee jerks to. I can stop and stabilize and analyze and choose something that feels a little better. You see, your point of view, and we've heard it from so many people, was more understandable when we were watching you believing that it was possible to jump from despair into appreciation. In other words, when you were trying to make that impossible jump, we could understand you being confused about not being able to control your emotions. But now you understand the incremental moving up the emotional scale. It's not possible for you to not get improvement with a little bit of effort. It's not possible. So we are no longer encouraging any conversation that implies that it is difficult when it isn't. We know it's a different way of looking at it.
I didn't realize that I was implying that.
Well, it's not fair for you to get in the hot seat and for us to tramp all over you.
Fine.
But we're really wanting everyone to leave this gathering with a stronger than ever determination that I can control the way I feel and I care about the way I feel because the way I feel is my indication of my connection with Source, and that means everything to me. That's more important than life itself because it is life itself. So these petty little irritations or these great big fears or the things that the fearmongers are out there trying to stir up within me, I find laughable. I'm a secure being. I know how to feel good. I can bring myself around to feeling good anytime I want to feel good. And so there's no longer anything out there in this universe that's ever going to get me down. Nothing's worth it. There's nobody big enough or bad enough to make me feel insecure because they can't get inside of me and vibrate. I can move myself up the scale. It's just a matter of making up my mind to do that. And I've made up my mind to do that. And so the way I feel is all on my shoulders. And I care about the way I feel. And I'm getting better at it every day. And every day, the people who used to bother me a little less, and the people who don't bother me at all even more than they don't bother me at all. In other words, I'm just feeling so very good about things. Things that used to irritate me, I find humorous. Things that I used to think were really big things are not really big things. I'm out here floating free. I'm feeling wonderful. I'm tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And all of the things that I've been wanting all of my life that have been out there in vibrational escrow, they're starting to come in. I'm seeing the evidence of my attuning and my aligning. And so it's really worth the effort. Making the effort to feel good is is worth everything. This isn't something like cheer up. This is something like cheer up and improve the quality of your life. Cheer up and improve your financial conditions. Cheer up and see your lovers come into your experience. Cheer up and improve the relationships with your father-in-law and your mother-in-law and your children and the people that you work with. Cheer up and discover the power of your being. Cheer up and discover who you really are. Fulfill your reason for being. Get in alignment with who you are and begin to embrace life in the way that you've meant. In other words, it is not worth one negative emotion standing. Well, next time you have a negative emotion, freak out over it. This is wrong. This is not who I am. Bless this guidance system. I'm so happy to feel this awareness that I've got something going on over here. I must have something out there in vibrational escrow that I'm trampling to death right this minute. I'm going to stop it right this minute. Now let's see. What can I do about this? How can I feel better about this? What thought would feel better about this? This one, no. This one, no. This one, no. This one, yeah. Yeah, this does feel a little better. Okay, I'm going to milk this one longer. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to milk it until I can really feel it. Oh yeah, now this is what I'm really feeling. I can feel this. I'm talking about this. This is normal for me now. I beat the drum of it. Now this is my new stabilized place, you see. And before you know it, you're feeling really, really, really good about just about everything. And then when something comes into your experience that does not feel good, instead of condemning it, or hating it, or letting it beat you up, instead you say, oh, bless you, little bugger. You are pointing out to me some stuff I've got stuck in my vibrational crawl that I don't want to be there. And you are letting me know that it's there. You're not the reason for it. It was there before you got there. You are amplifying and shining a light on my little vibrational indiscretion. And that vibrational indiscretion has been hindering the flow of energy to my cells. It has been hindering in the abundance. It's been keeping me apart from many of the things that I am wanting. So I am so happy that you showed up to irritate me in this powerful way, because you're giving me the opportunity to remind myself that I can move myself up the vibrational scale. I'm just having an emotional response to you. You're not creating in my experience. You couldn't even get in my experience if I didn't have a vibrational thing going on that is matching you. So you showing up and me now seeing you, this is a wonderful thing that is taking place here. And so now I'm going to embrace you. I'm going to bless you for showing yourself to me. And I'm going to talk you into a better feeling place, whether you like it or not. And as you talk it into a better feeling place, now those things and those things like it don't come. Do you know there's only 4 or 5 things that you've got stuck in your craw, and you got thousands of things pointing them out to you. But if you don't do something about it, they keep coming and they keep coming and they keep coming and they keep coming until you can have a bad relationship for somebody for 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years, you see. If you don't change your vibration, it's just going to keep coming back to you and saying, here I am, remember me? Remember me? Remember me? Remember me? You say, I remember you and I don't like you. And I'm going to do something about our relationship. I'm going to change my vibrational relationship with you so that you don't show up anymore.
Thank you.
You're doing just fine. There's nothing broken. Just let it be easier. Let every thought be easier. Let every moment be easier. Just let it be easier. Your life is not supposed to be hard. Let it be easier. Let your relationships be easier. Let moving around be easier. Let doing your work be easier. Let being in your body be easier. Just let it be easier. There's no virtue in struggle. Struggle's the opposite of who you really are.